Welcome back for another helping of oysters, clams, and cockles. I am your host, Ross Bolin, joined today, as always, by your other host, my buddy, Mr. Barrett Dudley, to bring you the best TV shows and movies weekly in an easily digestible podcast, packed with laughs, Barrett.
Oh, yeah.
How are you feeling? How you doing?
I'm going to try to laugh today, but my brain is semi-fried. You'll note that I really only have one tidbit today, and that's because my last 4 days have been consumed with a brand new puppy in the house.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Big moves.
Big move. And
what kind of puppy are we talking about here?
It's an 8-week-old golden retriever.
Oh, yeah. That's a puppy.
And it is just the cutest thing that you've ever seen in the world when it is asleep.
Sure.
And when it is alive, it resembles one of the monsters from Lovecraft Country.
Just eating everything, slobbering everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's been up and down. You know, you know me pretty well. Would you say that I'm a morning person, Ross?
No.
Do I like to wake up?
Barrett, few people rival me when it comes to not being a morning person. You've been smoking me my whole life.
Yeah. So the 5 or 6 a.m. wake up call, followed by the 6 or 7 a.m. second wake up call.
Yes, the second one will get you. And
then the day it has started. It's taking some getting used to, but I'm doing my best. I'm hanging in there, and I can already tell it's getting a little bit better each day.
When did y'all pick the puppy up?
Friday.
Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a girl. Her name is Sunny.
You're only a few days in.
Yeah.
Sunny, great name, love that. How's she doing with the other dog?
Okay, so Grace is not totally on board yet.
It'll come.
But there's no Grace is our older senior dog, and she's fine. You know, there's no there's no fighting and hostility, but you can tell that she is like,
hey, what the fuck?
Yes.
Who the hell is this?
Right. And she knows from the jump. She knew that this was not like a visitor for a few days.
She was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
It finally happened. We honestly, considering y'all just picked her up, and it's an 8-week-old puppy, which is just, you've started like a several-month period of just adjustment there.
Right.
You don't look that defeated for having survived the first weekend. You look relatively rested. I have to hand it to you.
Yesterday when I recorded Club Cool, and it was our shortest episode in 2 months because it just didn't have time to put anything together, and I was just absolutely zapped. Yeah. Yesterday I looked way worse.
Okay.
Like I said,
you've recovered some.
Each day is getting slightly better.
It's crazy.
So it's today I feel a little bit more on top of the game.
I get it, parents. I get it that it's different when you have a kid. I get it. It's another level.
Yep.
But getting a puppy is similarly schedule shaking.
It is. And what I said yesterday on Club Cool is that I would never say that I'm not saying that these two things are equal. Puppy, brand new human baby that you have to
But comparable.
But they are comparable, especially at the beginning. And the downside, the part that's worse about the puppy is that you bring home this brand new puppy and it's basically a toddler. Imagine if you had to bring home your baby and it was already mobile and eating everything that it could put its mouth on.
Throwing shit.
The whole...
Guess the dog doesn't throw anything.
You get home and it's already all over the house.
At
least with the baby, it doesn't move.
Right. It lays there. You have to feed it. It cries a lot. It wakes up a lot.
You probably get less sleep, but it's not... But when it is awake... it's not sprinting all over the house and biting through electrical cords.
Trying to eat your fucking couch.
You've got a little ways before it starts getting to that.
Destructive.
Where you have to you cannot look away for a split second.
Whereas the puppy
gets
shows
home
up and
it's
like that.
And it's like that. So that's the part that makes it kind of similarly exhausting, I would say.
Yeah, I mean when you haven't had kids yet, the puppy experience is far and away the closest thing you can come to.
Yes.
And I realized that when I have 2 dogs, obviously, and Bruce, my oldest, hasn't been a puppy for 6 years now. Mm-hmm. But that first 6 months was one of the tougher 6 months periods of my life.
Yeah.
Because I was just so strung out and tired.
Yep.
And just didn't know how to get him to shut the fuck up and stop trying to eat shit that he wasn't supposed to be eating.
Yes.
And finally one day, I think it was 3.5 years in, We found peace, Bruce and I. We came to an agreement finally. We have a great show today. I'm excited for y'all with the puppy. I have to come see it soon.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a great show lined up for y'all today. We're going to do tidbits and such with Barrett, as you mentioned. A short tid and just a sprinkle of such before we discuss some important business and then jump into HBO's Lovecraft Country. And then, of course, the long-anticipated, finally, we're going to be discussing Yellowstone.
That's correct.
Season 1. Episode 1. Only episode 1 today. I know we said probably get through 2, but I had my little brother in town over the weekend, and Barrett got a puppy.
That's correct.
So bear with us.
Those were things that were available, and on top of that, last week I was like, yeah, it's free. Peacock's free. Yellowstone totally free on the Peacock.
It's free everywhere.
It's free everywhere.
Not so much.
Not totally true. Now you've told me on the off mic here that it's possible that a lot of these episodes are available on the Paramount app.
Okay.
But I've not investigated. What I do know is that to continue watching on the Peacock, you do have to subscribe.
So I had the Paramount app. Okay. Hadn't downloaded Peacock, and I was like, all right, sort of just like, I'm going to see if it's still there. Mm-hmm. And I believe everything in season 1 except for the premiere and then seasons 2 and 3 are on the Paramount app. If I'm not, this was from a visual. I didn't click. You know how sometimes they'll put stuff in there and then you click and it's like, ha-ha! But it appeared I could not watch episode 1, so I was like, oh, shit. So then I had to download Peacock.
Yeah.
Which provides you episode 1 with, as you said, about 7 commercials, I think it was, scattered throughout. Mm-hmm. Hour and a half episode, good deal. But from there on Peacock, you have to pay. And what is the...
So I'm on the ParamountNetwork.com right now, and it looks like what you could watch through the Paramount app is all of season 3. Now, I'm not, again, I will have to go home and do more research, so I don't want to say anything. I don't want to have another screw up like I did last week saying that it was entirely free on the Peacock.
What an idiot.
Just an idiot, just a turd out here with misinformation. But season 3 definitely looks like it's available on the Paramount app, which you would be able to log into if you get Paramount through some type of cable provider, I imagine.
Sure.
But
that's not helping us with season 1.
It's not helping us with season 1. Now, the thing is, there is a subscription to Peacock that is $5 a month. It's similar to the Hulu model, where the inexpensive monthly fee will
offset by the commercials.
Get you, yes, you get access, but you still get ads.
Okay.
So that's probably what I'm gonna do is go for the cheaper one and just deal with the commercials.
That's what I've been doing with Hulu, baby.
Yeah,
it's fine. Get that phone time in.
Right, exactly. And then I may drop off of Disney Plus for a while. I'm ready. I'm ready to start doing the switching and swinging.
Dude, let's go. I'm out then too. I'll pull the plug on Disney Plus right now.
I'm gonna I want to watch Hamilton maybe one more time, and then I'm yanking it.
Oh, you're fucked. You were so close to freedom, and then you just maybe one more time with Hamilton, because now you've got me thinking like, all right, maybe I'll just watch The Sword and the Stone one more time before I disconnect, and this just all ends with me still keeping Disney Plus. And
either way, don't fret. We're gonna continue to cover Yellowstone one way or the other. It's happening.
Absolutely. Let's start.
Ross is even here in his hat from Montana. So.
I'm literally wearing a cowboy hat from Montana, a Stetson. Wow. It's a crushable Stetson.
How on brand is that?
It says Bozy Man on the front. Now, unfortunately, this is a large, and if you're watching on youtube.com/BolandMedia, what you'll see is that my head is no longer as fat as it once was. It cannot hold this hat up properly.
You shouldn't have stopped juicing.
That is the problem. Look, my head got enormous back in 2017. When I was just juicing like McGuire and Sammy Sosa back in the day.
Right.
Barry Bonds' hat grew a size and a half. Mine grew about a one size. I need a medium when I have a large, but I'm doing what I can to bring the vibes today, so I'm wearing the Stetson.
That's good.
Straight from Montana. It's real, authentic cowboy shit.
By the time we're wrapping up, by the time we're all the way caught up with Yellowstone, it should probably won't be 107 degrees outside.
Sure.
And we just need to start coming in here, denim and boots and the whole 9 yards. Really get into character for this. I think.
Boy, howdy, I'm down.
Okay, good.
I'm very down to do that with you, Barrett.
All right.
All right, let's start out, though, with some tidbits and such
Okay,
today.
I really only have one tidbit today, and then, we'll segue that into some news here, some podcast news.
Business such.
Some business and such. Right, that TB&S, that's tid business and such.
Indeed.
Right. So here's the tidbit. This is thanks to a listener, by the way, for this tip. I was not aware of this. But in 2 days, AMC is reopening a lot of theaters across the country. And they are going to be offering 2020 movies for 1920 prices for 1 day and 1 day only, August 20th, 2020, 15-cent movies.
Oh, you mean the year 1920?
Yeah, it's 2020 now.
And 100 years ago,
that's this year. It's
was
2020.
1920.
It's the current year.
Right.
We're in 2020.
Okay.
We're not in 1920. But they're going to offer movies like it's 1920 for the price of 1920.
But are they going to be new movies?
New movies.
So 2020 movies in a 2020 theater for the price of a 1920
That's
feature
correct.
film.
15 cents.
In an effort to rejuvenate.
Now, some are saying that this might be a headache because this might bring out too many people.
Is there rules
That's
on
basically a free movie.
That's 15 cents is insane. Are the theaters going to be packed with the homeless?
There's a coin shortage right now, so
is there?
Yeah, so I don't even know how people are going to get their 15 cents, but
wait, is there really a coin shortage?
Yeah, have you not seen that at like various stores and whatever?
Oh my God, now I'm Googling it. National coin shortage is hurting laundromats. Coin shortage hits retailers, laundromats.
I hate to keep...
Hold on, comma. Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
That's
an
ABC News headline. Yeah,
That's why I've got a big piggy bank at home. I just stuff it with coins. I have been for years. Well, now each of those quarters is worth like $20,
You're rich, biatch.
Yeah, and I'm just hoarding it. I'm hoarding these coins. But the thing is, and I hate to keep talking about... We talked on Club Cool about this yesterday. This is going to be an issue probably going forward because now Club Cool is recording on Mondays, and I'm really going to have to, just put a line in the sand. If I talk about it here, then can I talk about it here? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, you just talk where you talk.
Yeah, isn't it? It's kind of crazy because all of a sudden coins aren't circulating. Cash isn't circulating. And isn't it kind of interesting that coins have to circulate or all of a sudden there's a shortage of coins?
Because the stores need them.
Right. But
be able to give change and shit.
But because coins are not like changing hands constantly at like convenience stores and restaurants and gas stations,
movie theaters
and retail and like all the grocery stores, because nobody is like paying or taking cash right now, and the coins are just sitting wherever they may be. There's a coin shortage.
A coin shortage in circulation. They're still there.
They're there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either.
Are all the coins in the bank right now?
No, they got to be in pockets and couches and piggy banks and
right,
and cup holders. Lots of car cup holders filled with coins.
Yeah.
Strange car compartments.
Yeah, I don't know. But
another
there's a
weird
national
side effect of the old COVID.
Yes, exactly. So,
15 cents though.
15-cent movies. So if you hit this deal up, just be careful out there. But interesting to see what one national chain is going to try to do to lure you back in.
Now, are they going to have some kind of like every other seat situation? Oh, look, AMC social distancing protocols clarified. Appears there will be.
Yeah, I would imagine that there will definitely be limited capacity per theater.
So Phase 1 commences August 20th. That's 2 days from now.
Correct.
When AMC will make available a maximum of 30% of their seating capacity in every showtime at all of its theaters nationwide. Phase 2, capacity rises to 40%, which they then have a map of to show me exactly what that would look like, as if I couldn't envision it in my own head. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows, Barrett, what Phase 3 will bring.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody knows.
It's just blank. And then Phase 4, obviously, profit.
15 cents, though. The first thing that comes to my head is that if I'm homeless, I'm gathering up as much fucking change as I can, and that's where I'm hanging until
hanging out in a movie theater.
I'm just watching 15-cent films and eating popcorn all day in the fucking air conditioner. It's 1,000 degrees outside.
I mean, that's totally possible.
Just saying, for all our homelessness
the thing
listeners.
is, I had no idea about this news, so it's possible that word has not reached reached them yet.
Look, I've got them. I'm going to stop on the way home under 71
Let them
and
know
just yell out the window.
about the opportunity.
2 days. Phase 1 begins. AMC theaters, 15 fucking cents.
I
and
mean,
then peel
dude,
out.
I would surely not blame them because it is miserably hot outside, and this is the time of year where you especially, as if we weren't empathetic towards them. I mean, like this is got to be the worst.
Oh, it's in Austin. It's the worst by far.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's literally like 110 degree heat advisory.
It's not good. So
Brutal.
yeah, that's really my only tidbit for today. So I mentioned that was a tip dropped off in my DMs by a listener. There's another place where listeners are sharing T's, B's, and S's.
Huzzah!
And that's on our Discord.
Brand spanking new.
Now, here's the thing. Right now, the Discord is an exclusive perk for the members of the Mollusk Militia on patreon.com/clubcool. Now,
Oysters, clams, cockles.
Oysters, clams.
You are.
I'm just blowing this
recorded
today.
too closely together, sir.
It's okay. It's
Now you know how I feel.
Yes, I do.
Remember the other day I did an ad read and I was
for
like,
RBP, yeah.
Yeah, and you were like, nope, not this show at all. It happens.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. Members of the Mollusk Militia now are invited to participate in the OCC Discord channel. Here's the thing that I'm not totally understanding yet for those members of the Clam Fam yet.
Sure.
The Discord is open. It's been sent to all of you.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 20 some odd people in here. Where you at, people?
If you're in the Mollusk Militia and you've seen the post on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles, and you are yet to join the Discord, you have an opportunity here to get in early in what I guarantee you will be one of the most fun elements of this podcast community. If you're in the Mollusk Militia, if you're not, you should be. If you're in the Crustacean Nation and you've been looking for a reason to jump to the Mollusk Militia, this should be it. And I'll tell you why.
Because Adam Sandler is in our Discord.
Because it's 19 of us and Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Now, and I mean, pretty much. He's pretty much in there. We have another listener who's sharing T's, B's, and S's, and he's sharing stories about how he's good family friends with this guy that's family friends with Adam Sandler, and they're like besties and like
The Sandman.
We're just in there. Like I said, Adam Sandler's basically in the Discord, so I don't know what you're waiting for.
We're so close to having Adam Sandler in the Discord.
Yeah.
Like it could be at any moment. And you could be not there when that moment comes.
We're talking about what a nice guy Adam Sandler is, how he like helps out his buddies, he down to earth, he rides with
like
his
a regular human
rides
being.
with his day ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah, colorblind, regular human being.
He's a benevolent guy. You think he's not going to drop into this Discord at some point?
Seems likely that he will be running the Discord by the end of August, if I had to take a guess. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Discord, if you know Slack, perhaps, Discord is essentially it's a messaging app similar to Slack that allows you to invite only members of your community or organization that you want to be in the Discord. In this case, only members of the Mollusk Militia on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles who support the show with a minimum $10 pledge a month in exchange for 4 additional ad-free premium episodes of OCC each and every month. And you can set up channels. So we'll have like a Game of Thrones channel. We'll have a Yellowstone channel. We'll have a Lovecraft Country channel, a Dark channel, whatever. We can have as many channels as we want. And sort of the way it will work is the larger the community gets, it almost becomes run by the community for the community.
Correct.
And I can speak to this because my other show, the Ross Bolin podcast, has we've had a Discord for several months now, since 2019. We launched it in sort of conjunction with the gaming wing of Bolin Media, where we do a bunch of Twitch streaming.
It's a gaming ship.
It's a gaming ship on twitch.tv/bossrollin. Play a lot of Warzone, now Fall Guys, which is ridiculous and so much fun. And the Discord sort of went hand in hand with that. We have over like 800 people in there now, and it's a blast because it allows the members of your community, your podcast community, your listenership to get to know each other, meet people, discuss things with people they don't are. Like it's great for connecting. And right now more than ever in 2020, we need that. And I've seen how crazy beneficial it has been for all the members of the RBP gang over on the Ross Bolin podcast Discord. So y'all be sure, if you're in the Mollusk Militia especially, you're in.
Yeah,
Barrett
and
sent you the link.
I did,
Click.
and I will resend it this week because it is one of those things where it's just part of the Discord experience. The link expires
Every 24 hours
in a day, and that's to just limit, so the link doesn't get
spread out all over
shared
the
on
place.
the World Wide Web.
Then
and
you got a bunch of people you don't want in there.
Yeah, exactly. So we're keeping out the riffraff, and
how do we keep out the prudes? We don't let them in.
Check your lease, buddy.
Because you're living on Fuck Mountain.
Yeah,
we'll have a Arrested Development channel.
We can.
Jokes like those.
We absolutely can. And look, Ross and I, when we started with the Patreon, we kind of envisioned it as a more communal experience than Patreon is really set up to be.
Yeah.
Patreon's great for delivering bonus exclusive content, but it's not so great for interacting with the community at large, and especially the community creators. So this, on the other hand, is very, very easy. It's on my desktop. It's on my phone. It comes in like text messages or like Slack. It's very easy to respond to, very easy to just see everything and chat and do the whole thing. So we're very excited to get this going. Again, right now, it is an exclusive perk for the Mollusk Militia. Stay tuned. As it grows and gets bigger and better, we do think that we will open it up a little bit further. But
we got people joining still, though, Barrett. We do. I jumped in at 11:58 a.m. this morning. We got Autumn, who jumped in at 1:09. I'm holding it up. If you're watching on YouTube.com/BolinMedia.
There's Wace Mindu in there. He's taken your name style with the switching of the first letters.
I'm Boss Roland.
You're Boss Roland. Yeah.
He's Wace Mindu, like Mace Windu. You get it, Star Wars nerds.
Yes,
you get it.
So, speaking of the Patreon, I got 2 new tiers for you, Ross.
Whew.
Have you heard about these tiers?
I have seen them.
That's
good.
I
have seen them. They're beautiful.
We have opened up to Patreon to offer another set of 2 lower-priced tiers because we know that we offer a lot of bonus content on there, and it can be maybe 5, maybe 10. I totally understand. That's it's another streaming service, basically.
Sure.
So we got 2 new lower-priced offerings now. One is Movie Club. We are pretty much in a rhythm now where we do 1 movie club as a Patreon bonus episode
per month.
Movie Club is actually coming up this week.
I love Movie Club.
So for $3 a month, you get into the Patreon, you get the Movie Club once a month.
It's one of the more fun episodes we do every month.
So
I love Movie Club.
If you're like a film guy, if you like hearing us break down stuff like we have on the Ad-Based podcast, like we've talked about The Irishman here. We're going to talk about American Pickle today. If you're like the film type and you don't like keeping up with all the TV shows, Movie Club is perfect option.
Yeah, if you're like, I don't have time for all the TV, but you've got time for a movie a month, Movie Club, baby.
Exactly. And then the other tier, I've named it the Wiretappers, and here's why. Because I wanted more people to get to experience the Hotline Call extravaganza.
Ooh, love this.
So it's called the Wiretappers because for that $3 a month tier, you get to hear the Hotline Call episode, all calls of which are brought to you by our loyal members of the Mollusk Militia, but you get to listen.
Yes.
So no access to call the hotline, but this is truly it's probably our most expansive episode that we do every month. It's the most far wide ranging where we talk about old stuff and new stuff, and it can literally encompass anything and everything that the members of the Mollusk Militia call in about.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun, just kind of different, unique episode that doesn't focus entirely on the entertainment and industry news and specific TV shows and stuff that we're watching. It's just really kind of all over the place. So if you're interested in that, if you just want to get that episode, we do 1 a month of those as well. $3 a month. Join the Wiretappers, and you get to hear the Hotline Extravaganza once a month.
I love that our photo for the Wiretappers is Carrie
Matheson. That's right.
Beloved character.
Yeah. And the Movie Club, your avatar is the Dark Knight. I really wanted to name that. I wanted to after we did our top 5 movies the other day. I wanted to use the Dark Knight reference, the Watchful Protectors. I didn't want it, but that was too confusing. so I put it in the description instead.
Yeah, it's titled Movie Club, then it says AKA The Dark Knights, and then it says, joining this tier makes you the hero OCC deserves and the one it needs right now. You're our silent guardians, our watchful protectors, our dark knights. He had 4 names he wanted to name this fucking tier.
So just new stuff happening on the Patreon. Wanted to get more and more people over there.
Love to see it. Join the Mollusk Militia, join the Crustacean Nation, or the Wiretappers, or just the Movie Club, or hell, just throw $2 in the tip jar.
There's still the tip jar too. $2 minimum pledge if you don't need any bonus content, but you love the podcast, the ad-based one that you get once a week, and you just
love us.
You love us.
You really love us. Then that's the one for you.
Then that's the one for you. And then obviously, still got Crustacean Nation out there, which gets you everything but the Hotline Extravaganza.
3 episodes.
3 episodes.
With the
you get all the other bonus content.
Ad-free. Everything on Patreon. Ad-free. Premium. That's the point. You pay directly for the content. No advertisers. We're circumventing the advertisers. Circumventing.
And then Mollusk Militia, you get everything above. Plus, you get to jump in the Discord right now. Early access.
Discord's going to be hot. I'm telling you. I just took a picture in the Discord of you and I recording. Me and my hat.
Talking about the Discord.
You and your normal hat.
Yeah.
Talking about it, and I sent it to them so they can see it.
There you go.
And we've already got 3 reactions.
That's meta
to that photo.
Yeah.
Imagine all of the people listening who were like, God damn it, I wish I could see that photo. Well, join the Mollusk Militia on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles and get in that Discord, baby, because it's going to be lit the rest of 2020.
That's right.
And into the future. Shall we talk about Lovecraft Country Season 1, Episode 1?
Yeah, let's do it.
So HBO's latest, Lovecraft Country, premiered on HBO. It actually did decently, very well, so far anyway.
Ratings-wise,
they were relatively pleased with the way it went. 760,000 total viewers in its 9 p.m. Linear slot on the premium cable station HBO, which compared to Watchmen drew 800,000. Perry Mason 884,000. So considering,
and what was the number for Lovecraft Country?
760,000. So considering, not bad.
Yeah.
And across HBO Max included, 1.4 million total viewers. Was their number 1 most watched show on Sunday night, and actually, according to Variety, represents the first time that HBO has added the HBO Max viewership to the overall tally for a new show.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
new age, baby, HBO Max, we're here. By the way, finally canceled my HBO subscription all the way with Google Fiber.
Okay.
And I'm simply a Max boy now.
Gotcha.
That's the way it had to go for me.
Okay. It makes sense.
Don't know why.
Whatever you got to do.
It doesn't make sense. They didn't make any of this make sense. This is the most complicated, fucked up rollout of all time.
So it was. And by the way, 2 people lost their jobs because of this, basically.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. That I could have had that as a tidbit. You can look it up though if you want more of that type of industry news.
Was one of them Suit Man? The idiot from the Barstool beef with Portnoy?
No.
Because he was an HBO guy and he got fired. He was HBO Sports though.
Okay. No, these were two big wigs, like big time names. They were running I think they were running HBO Max. One of them was running HBO Max, and the other one was running something else. This rollout was obviously kind of a mild disaster specifically because it lacked so much clarity. At one point, there was they still had HBO for cable subscribers and HBO Now and HBO Go, and then HBO Max released. So there were 4 things at one time, and nobody knew if they got HBO Max or was this a new thing? Do I have to upgrade? What do I do? And then the HBO Go just got just a total boot. It's totally gone now. There's no HBO Now. They did not roll this out very well.
They were already in a tough spot, to be fair. They already had the split between Now and Go and then regular HBO, and it was like, what the hell? But there are 2 executives that are out, Bob Greenblatt and Kevin Riley.
Kevin Riley. Those are the 2 big names that
yeah, because their CEO, Jason Killer, apparently has company's future plans with a tighter focus on HBO Max, and clearly these 2 are being held responsible for the boggling of the old launch.
Yeah.
Launch is important.
Yes, indeed.
And theirs didn't go well. Anyway, so I'm on HBO Max, got it.
That's good.
And Lovecraft Country is sort of the first big thing they've premiered. Now, going into this show, did you know anything about it?
Yeah, I had read. I knew that it was going to play with racial themes.
Sure.
And I knew that it was going to be about a guy looking for his dad. That's about it.
Okay, so we've got executive producers Jordan Peele,
J.J.
Abrams, Ben Stevenson, another guy, Green, something. Already you can kind of get a feel for what we're going with there. Just by J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele alone, that sort of combo, that's exactly what you get. With episode 1 anyway, those vibes fit pretty perfectly. I didn't realize so first of all, I didn't know it was about a guy looking for his dad. The only thing I could gather was that it was going to get crazy in terms of like science fiction-y stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't realize is that it was going to be very much have elements of horror throughout.
Yes.
And it is being classified as an American drama horror series.
Yeah.
It is based on the 2016 novel of the same name by Matt Ruff, Lovecraft Country. Obviously premiered this past Sunday on HBO, and it is the story of Atticus Freeman, our main character, joining up with his friend Letitia and his uncle George to embark on a road trip across 1950s Jim Crow America in search of his missing father. And basically episode 1 is our introduction to that very premise. Why are they looking for his dad? How did his dad go missing? They have no idea, right?
Correct. We've got a few clues here in the first episode. He's got the letter that his dad wrote him, kind of guiding him to this spot called Artem in Massachusetts,
which they're trying to find.
Which they're kind of looking for. They think they know where it is, and they're on a trip there.
They hit a couple spots in an effort to try to figure out where Arden is exactly.
Right, and George, Tick's uncle, his job, what he does for a living, is he creates these guidebooks for black travelers in this, time period in 1950s America that basically like allows them to go on trips and know where to go to stay safe.
To avoid
racism in places that, like the diner that they happen upon.
One white guy inside, one white server, white guy inside bounces, basically calls on the cavalry.
Yes.
Next thing they know, Atticus is sitting there realizing, Uncle George, remind me why they painted the White House white? And he's like, well, it got burned down. Figures out the building they are in has clearly been set on fire before, and Letitia's figuring that out in the back. They run the fuck out of there. The whole thing is very intense.
Yes.
Was it 3 different spots we hit in the first episode for racist travel stops?
We hit. So there was there was the diner, and then I think they get into the next county.
And that's where the cop is.
And then they get into Devon County, I believe.
Yeah, because they make it across that county border, and we're like, oh, we're good. And then there's like another.
And then they get to the house, the big crazy house in Artem, where the car is that like.
Clearly that had helped them escape earlier from the other racists. A seemingly impenetrable Rolls Royce.
Yes.
Or
some type of,
I think it is a Rolls, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
If I'm not mistaken, which I often am.
Love the car that our crew is driving in, that old ass, that
it's
funky looking Woody.
And everybody in the squad, well, we don't know about George yet, but the other two, Tick, otherwise known as Atticus, and Letitia, phenomenal drivers. Great getaway drivers.
Yeah.
Very strong-willed, focused driving on their behalves to escape the insane racists throughout the course of this episode.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have that scene with the Rolls Royce saving them. And it blocks the road and the other car slams into it, but it doesn't slam into it. There's almost a force field around it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't totally know what happened there, but yes.
And it
I was
flips
like, wait,
over
what happened there? And then I just kind of ignored it.
Yeah, I didn't go back or anything, but it was pretty clear there was still a gap between the car and the rolls. And then it flips over them. It's almost like as it had some device pop out the other side, or there's just a force field. There's some magical elements at play here is the point. And we don't really know to what degree. He keeps referencing Lovecraft.
Yeah, so let's talk about Lovecraft. The author, H.P. Lovecraft, he was born in 1890, died in 1937. A very prolific author, writer, specializing in weird fiction, science fiction, horror fiction.
And this is a real guy.
This is a real guy. And so there's even we're mostly familiar with Lovecraft's work now through like interpretations of these themes that he essentially like made popular, that he created. So there's a subgenre called Lovecraftian horror. And so he's as far as like his influence on the genre of this weird and strange and horror and science fiction type stuff with these creepy monsters, like we see it all the time. Everything from like Cloverfield to Pan's Labyrinth,
I was about
and
to say, one of my
Guillermo
all-time-
del Toro stuff.
One of my
to
faves.
like to Stranger Things with the why do I want to say chupacabras? That's not what they're called, but the Demogorgons.
Yeah.
Like there's
Chupacabras.
there's all sorts of versions of monsters and horror that owe a lot to H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay, so here's what I'm reading about the genre Lovecraftian horror. It's a subgenre. It's basically what you said, but subgenre of horror fiction that emphasizes the cosmic horror of the unknown or unknowable more than gore or other elements of shock. It's named after American author H.P. Lovecraft. His work emphasizes a philosophy of cosmicism, the idea that the reality underlying the veneer of normality is so alien that seeing it would be harmful.
Yeah.
Which I can't even wrap my small brain around.
I mean, here's just like the list of themes on Wikipedia that he played with: forbidden knowledge, non-human influences on humanity, fate, civilization under threat, race, risks of a scientific era, religion, superstition. So, like, all things that we are likely to confront and play with in this television show. Now, here's the thing. Much like Henry Ford, a guy that is lauded for his influence on a specific industry, right? Mm-hmm. H.P. Lovecraft was also a vile racist.
Ah! That makes this even more.
Which they allude to in this first episode. Talks about how Tick has that moment when he's in his uncle's office and they're looking through the books, and he picks up that H.P. Lovecraft novel, or the collection of stories, and talks about how when his dad first caught him with that book, he made him go read like some of the nasty, like essentially, I don't know if they were full-on manifestos, but like poems that were hateful and racist and bigoted and derogatory towards black people. So one of the many figures in American history that like left a lasting impact that we still see in pop culture today, and also, was a pretty awful person, probably.
Yeah, there's an article here on Vox that says H.P. Lovecraft was one of the most influential writers of the 20th century. He was also one of its most racist.
Yeah. And this is stuff, just a personal anecdote. When I was in New York, I was in New York City on a little business trip with Haller Brothers. We ended up in this tiki bar. This was in February, just like right before the pandemic, like really full on struck. Uh-huh. And there was some type of group gathering going on in the back room of this tiki bar. And we kept peeking back there. We kept seeing people walk in and out. And at one point we saw this guy in this like crazy looking Davy Jones from the Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, the big tentacle face, beard,
word.
Very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of his most like influential things that he's most known for is what's called the I think I'm saying this correctly, the Cthulhu mythos. This was one of his big monster characters.
Is this Cthulhu?
Yes.
This thing appeared in South Park at one point.
Yeah. And
Cartman rides it.
There was a guy dressed up as this thing, and there was like a whole get-together performance thing.
Were they back there like worshiping him?
I don't know. And now like I know, like I didn't totally realize what was happening. We figured out that it was Lovecraft and Cthulhu that they were back there doing this thing with. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, oh shit, I hope there wasn't something like super nasty and racist going on back there.
Yeah, like is it often combined with racism? It seems like that's the case.
I don't think so. Like there's even they talk about, I'm pretty sure there's mentions of Lovecraft or at least references to his stuff in True Detective season 3.
Really?
Yeah, like he's a guy, like his work, his stuff is commonly referenced and mentioned and influential in modern weird fiction, horror fiction.
He's just written some really weird racist poems.
He's a really strange figure in my mind because he clearly like still carries so much weight and influence, and yet usually when somebody does that, we like kind of they're the bad sides, the negative sides about this people are. I feel like they're a little bit more widely known, but maybe that's just me being naive.
I feel like when it's as blatant as they've written poems with the titles that this guy has, usually you have that connection made immediately. There's some really, I'm looking down the line here, and it's, he was pretty fucked up, it turns out.
Yeah.
But just, that's a very strange, especially because, I mean, this is a very black show.
It's certain. I mean, yeah.
Every main character is black.
Yeah.
So to have it based on this guy who's very controversially racist, or at the very least racially confused.
So what I think is happening here, the way that I'm interpreting this, and clearly there's a basis for this since this is all based on a more recent book. But the vibe that I'm getting is especially for the first 45 minutes of this episode before we actually see any monsters, is that kind of what they're playing with is that the Lovecraftian monsters in this series are the racists. Right?
Yes.
That like the weird, strange, horrifying figures are not just freaky monsters, but like something that actually existed.
Like that cop who gets half his body ripped off, then turns into one of the monsters, then eats his friend.
And we mentioned up top how this is produced by J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele, and it has elements of both of those guys already. There's this kind of like, there's that 1950s kind of small town, early like American Dream kind of wonder, kind of almost like Super 8. You ever see Super 8 from J.J. Abrams? Like that type. There's that type of.
I love that movie.
I think that's based in the 80s, not all the way back to the 50s. But it's got that. Just the look is very. Where's the beaver? Beaver Cleaver, whatever. Jim.
Leave it to Beaver.
Leave it to Beaver. Thank you. Right, it's got those kind of like bright, more saturated colors going on. The wardrobe, fantastic. I really, really love the look and the outfit that everybody is wearing here. Like they're just setting the scene really well.
Yo, Letty's outfits.
Yup.
Fire.
And so that's kind of what I felt like they were doing is, especially you look at stuff like Us and Get Out from Jordan Peele. Where right, like they're like that's what we're keying in on. The horror element of his stuff is like systemic racism, is oppression of a culture. So it's not surprising that we're like taking this novel. We got these two producers because they clearly relate to the material,
and then they sort of combine all that,
and then we kind of package it up, and then at the very end, we're also getting the Lovecraft style
horror
monsters and horror as well. So I don't know how they're gonna play that forward, but I imagine that we're gonna get. I think that these two things are gonna continue to roll over each other, where we're dealing with like the plight of racism and how black families in 1950s had to cope and deal and survive it essentially, and how the monsters kind of come in and relate. That's the part that I'm not totally sure about yet.
Yeah, yet to be determined, as we've only seen through episode 1, which obviously ends with a lot of chaos, and I was like, not really. Suddenly these Lovecraft monsters that he's been sort of referencing and the Lovecraft shit he's been bringing up, Tick has throughout the episode, are there and are very, very, very real and hungry, which is crazy. They also combined, like, they had some more contemporary hip-hop music in the episode.
Loved that.
Which then played into James Baldwin's 1965 debate speech at the University of Cambridge's Union Hall that is very, very famous and has been put in, sampled and replayed in many different genres, movies, TV shows, music as well. So they'd lean in hard into the racism stuff, even as you're starting to get a feel for what this show is going to, what road it's going to take us down, that sort of shit is already unfolding. It's kind of trippy the way they inserted it too. They're definitely not going to shy away from having fun on this show and doing things, inserting pieces of media here and there like that makes sense for the story they're trying to tell. Oh man, I guess what do we think in terms of everything we saw in this first episode going into episode 2? We've got our gang, right?
Yep.
That's trying to go figure out where the dad is. What happened to him? We're dealing with the racist surroundings of all these counties, police officers, towns. We've got these monsters. How do you feel after one episode? Because it was pretty polarizing. We had people like, yo, are we going to cover Lovecraft Country? First episode was amazing. And we had people like, what the hell was this? What did I just watch? How did you feel?
I really, really liked it. I liked it a lot.
I also
beautifully shot. I really enjoyed all of the performances and the characters. And I just thought it was like a cool setup.
I enjoy shows that don't give us too much up front.
Yeah.
I always remember when Game of Thrones episode 1 ended, I was like, that was really tight, but what?
Right.
I didn't know where it was going, really. I didn't know I didn't know enough of the characters or what was going to happen. It was just like, okay, I feel this setup and I need to know more now. Lovecraft is definitely an example of a show where I was like, shit, I wish I could watch episode 2 immediately, because it's just we're rolling by the end of episode 1, but we still don't know much in terms of like in terms of how the show's going to progress and in terms of where it sort of takes us from here. If episode 1 was all of the setup we needed, then it'll be pretty blatant pretty obvious what we're going to see the rest of the season, but it didn't feel that way. It felt like there was going to be quite a bit of madness throughout the season. So I'm just excited for it. It put me in a spot where I really enjoyed episode 1, thought it was super well made. It is not something that I am like used to watching a show with mostly black characters at this point, which is something we're trying to get more into, obviously, and get some black stories going. I don't know if this qualifies.
I would absolutely say it does.
Good, then we're doing it.
It's a story about dealing with the Jim Crow levels of racism in the 1950s, basically. So far, that's certainly what it is. And I look, man, I feel like some may you have those like internal reactions where like, oh, we get it, like white people in the 1950s sucked and were racist. We can never see that enough, because I don't feel like we have, right? Like you don't internalize it until it's pounded into your brain how bad and how rough and how scary it was and is still today. Right?
Why that matters, how little has changed, the ways that impacted generations prior to us. And when you think about that, if it's like if you're a white person who watches a show like this and has that reaction, well, just imagine if 3 generations of your family, the past 3 generations, 2 generations of your family dealt with this type of shit, and how that would still impact you today.
Yeah. So I don't really like.
Not the monster part, but just the generalization of Jim Crow America.
Watching this type of story, and even though like I already know that this was bad, I can never I always feel like it's important for me to like be reminded and see this type of story, and just kind of relate to characters to understand how like what this was like. Even though you can never really, truly understand it. Another kind of important piece to remember that I thought was interesting, and I don't know if this is purposeful or not, but this is well past the Civil War, right? We're into 1950s, the American dream, America. They live in Chicago and are driving north into Massachusetts. They're in the North. This is the Union.
And you're still getting...
you still get this type of stuff. So it's not like... it's not like the southern states are the only ones that
had racism.
Yeah, that had serious, awful racism. And so it's just like, on top of all of that, I thought it was incredibly, like, just a great looking show, and had cool stories, cool characters that I'm very interested to learn more about, and a plot that piques your interest, right? Like, who is the blonde lady in the Rolls Royce? Yeah. What the hell is this house? What is Dad doing up here?
There's some superheroes type of something going on with that chick.
So that's I think it was also telling that the book that Tick was reading at the very beginning was John Carter of Mars, which and
He
that
picks up a lot of. He also picks up Count of Monte Cristo at one
Count
point.
of Monte Cristo, all these like adventure stories, right? People that are regular people that are suddenly thrown into
Crazy adventures.
situations.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of a clue as to kind of what type of story and show we're going to get here for the rest of this.
There was a line from Montrose, Michael K. Williams' character, where he says, I know that like your mother, you think that you can forget the past. You can't. The past is a living thing. You owe it. And that sort of frames up a lot of what you own it. You own it, owe it, he says. So it's like you have to pay respect to it almost, which is just obviously an incredibly relevant message for 2020 as well.
That's the note that Tick has from his dad.
From his dad, yeah.
Who is going to be played by Michael K. Williams.
Now we know.
Yeah. I mean, he's in the previews as well, so
Yeah,
not a total shocker. Also, we know that HBO takes care of their own.
They do.
Michael K. Williams, baby. The Wire, Boardwalk Empire, The Night of.
He's an
HBO Power player.
Did you watch the Next Time sort of deal?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I watched it too.
Looks pretty dope.
No idea what's going to happen, but holy shit, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, Michael K. Williams is one of the all-time great HBO actors.
Yeah.
Omar from The Wire is one of the most classic characters in the history of television. He's just a flamboyantly gay gangster. It is an all-time character. I mean, he was like 50% of what made that show great for me, Omar. And then he's had incredible characters on so many other shows, including Boardwalk Empire. And yes, as we know, HBO takes care of their own. So excited to see him playing Tick's dad at some point here down the road.
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country, Season 1, Episode 1. Very intriguing, very well made. Certainly, there's really one thing you need to do with your premiere, and that's pique my interest, grab my attention. They did both of those things. It was a great success for a first episode, and I'm looking forward to episode 2.
There were, if you're just not like a weird fiction or science fiction or monsters type of person, then you may not have been. This story may not have been quite as compelling to you because it certainly does have that sci-fi element to it, right?
Oh yeah,
like there's something a little
something's off, something's going on,
paranormal type monstery going on. But like we always say, if you were even semi-interested, I say go through 3 to really see what the show is gonna try to deliver for us.
Yeah, as we always do say, 3 is the number you gotta give. You gotta be willing to give 3.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking back to those car chase scenes, man. They really did do a ridiculously good job. I just felt so dangerous for these black people to be on the road.
It's terrifying, man.
In the United States in any measure, and even up north, like you were saying. Looking forward to covering Lovecraft Country Episode 2 next week right here on OCC. Let's jump into Yellowstone.
Yeah.
If you're ready.
I'm ready. You must be getting hot over there in that wool hat.
I'm wearing the hat. The head's a little sweaty. It was worth it. I stand by my decision.
Yeah.
The first episode of this show, Season 1, Episode 1, which we'll be discussing today.
Speaking of 3 episodes, I feel like I watched 3 episodes watching the first episode of Yellowstone.
It was very, very long. It aired June 20th, 2018. We are not as many years behind as I imagined we were. We're right there. They're in Season 3 right now, I believe, or they've finished Season 3. I don't know. 3 seasons are available through all manner of different platforms, purchasing platforms and otherwise streaming. As Barrett mentioned, Season 1, Episode 1 is on
Peacock.
You
can watch it with 7 ads or so over the 90 minutes. Maybe it's 10. I don't know.
From there, we're still figuring out exactly what's what.
Yep.
Paramount has some. Peacock, you got to purchase, I believe, to get the rest of it. Again, $5, I think Barrett said, for minimal ads.
Yep.
And you can watch the rest of Season 1. We will be covering Season 1 in its entirety regardless, one way or the other. I know there are those of you here who are watching along with us, and there are also those of you who watched Yellowstone back when it aired and are just looking forward to the discussion. But through one episode, this was very much, I get now. All right, you said last week, people who gave you the Succession comparison you were thankful for.
Tell me you did not just immediately have mad Succession vibes.
I did, but also understood the Game of Thrones vibes.
Okay.
Because Episode 1 does bounce around from, like, 8, 9 different characters, their perspectives and what's going on with them. And by the end of the episode, you have sort of a feel for what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still very confusing as to who is who and what is what and where is where. So I'm going to walk it back a bit and say that, yes, the Game of Thrones comparison people are also correct.
Okay, I hear you.
It's just, yes, in terms of the family and the patriarch of that family, it certainly does play like Succession does a little bit.
Now, we've also sat here and made the Succession and Game of Thrones comparison as well with the head of a household and 2 brothers and a sister. And so, like, yes, it's the setup. Like, Tywin Lannister is Logan Roy is
John Dutton.
So, yeah.
And then he's got all the Duttons along with him for the ride.
Where do you want to start? Do you just want to jump in on like thoughts and takes and notes?
Oh, hell, Barrett, we might as well talk about the whole episode in general.
Okay, because one of the things that struck me, by the way, if you're, I can't imagine that you're listening still and you haven't at least seen episode 1. So
if you haven't, though,
but if you haven't and you want to,
get out
of here. Yeah,
get go on now,
go
on now, get.
Like those cattle, just get on out of here.
Get on out of
here.
Get
on over to the other property.
Wild horse.
Yeah, so like halfway through, I was like, man, they're just going to keep introducing us to Dutton kids. How many goddamn Duttons are there? Dutton kids are there going to be here? Because like we got 2 or 3, and I was like, okay, now we know the kids. And then like another one popped up, and I was like, good Lord, what are all these Dutton kids?
I mean, you got Case Dutton, Beth Dutton, Jamie Dutton, Monica Dutton, Tate Dutton. There's Duttons coming out of the woodwork.
Don't forget about Tanner Dutton.
Old Tanner Dutton, the long-lost Dutton.
Long-lost Dutton. He hasn't been introduced yet, but he's coming.
He's in rehab.
Yeah.
He's in rehab for methamphetamine.
He was studying film at USC.
Yeah.
He was just going to, didn't want that ranch life.
No, he didn't want the ranch life, but then he got hooked on Adderall because he was doing the late-night film grind. One thing led to another. Yeah. Next thing you know, he's back in Montana where meth is more prevalent. They're on the meth.
It's a whole thing.
The kid's hooked on the crystal. Tanner Dutton will be back one day, though.
It's a whole thing. But then by the end of the episode, I was like, oh, okay, we had to have like 9 kids because
we got to start killing them off.
We got to start killing. We kill one right away.
People are going to die. Which one died even? I was very confused. I was like, wait, I know he lost his son just now.
There was a gravestone that said Chance, but that's not his name. Or it is, but it's not the name that he goes by.
I thought he was picturing like, because he closes his eyes, and I thought he was picturing like tombstones past and present, perhaps.
Okay. Lee. It was Lee Dutton that gets got.
Oh, Lee gets got, huh?
You hate to see it.
Well, hell, Lee's not even on this little list of names I got here.
Right,
I don't even know which.
Because he made it 1 episode.
Oh, well, that's a crying shame, Barrett. A crying shame. Which one is the badass that lives on like the reservation?
That is
Casey.
Casey. I think it's Casey. Yeah.
I believe that's Case or Casey. Kayce. Why do I have to spell names like that?
Casey. It's Casey.
It's a confusing way of doing it.
Casey Dutton.
We also have another HBO favorite, Kelly Riley. Kelly Riley is playing Beth Dutton,
who I feel like is playing almost the same character that she played in True Detective Season 2.
That's because this is just who she is. Now, here's the thing.
She's British.
Yes, but I mean, generally, she's sultry. She's got that look about her. Yes. She's got a ton of swag in her eyes and her facial expressions. And when she first came on screen, I was like, oh, God, the True Detective Season 2 lady. And I mean, listen, let's not mince words here. They gave her some absolutely atrocious shit to say in that season of television. Her and Vince Vaughn were the most unfortunate. And it was a lot of them having to say really bad lines back and forth to each other. But the whole season 2 of True Detective, I was very attracted to this woman.
Well, yeah.
Very attracted to this woman. Just never got a really good reason to like her character because the whole season was such a disaster. 1 episode into Yellowstone here, I would watch this entire series just for her at this point. Her character is fucking awesome. Yep. Also, literally does some fucking. Is just all around the most cold-blooded of the children that we see.
Mm-hmm.
She's just doing stuff.
She's a shark. She's a shark is what she is.
She is a shark.
Yeah.
She's making jokes about dudes' peen size immediately after experiencing coitus with him.
Cold-blooded.
That is some hard shit there.
Yeah. So what else we got? We got her. Now we've got our setup here, right, is that We've got the Duttons.
The Dutton
John
family.
Dutton is the patriarch. He seems
Kevin
to kinda
Costner.
he seems to run Montana, or at least
A large
a
portion
large
of it.
portion of it.
He's
This
got a lot of power.
ranch. They're close to Bozeman, I believe. Yeah, that's what your hat says.
It says Bozeman on it.
Yeah, they've got that's the Stetson Bozeman, I imagine. That's the style of hat.
Ah, it's the Bozeman indeed.
What else? Oh,
I
so
reckon.
he's clearly got the governor in his pocket, who he is sleeping with. It would appear.
He's got police.
He's got he's got some police, and then there are the Yellowstone clearly butts right up to a Native American reservation. So there's going to be some conflict there. There already is over a herd of cattle. In fact, it gets 2 people killed. Important people, I would say, as well. Mm-hmm. A Dutton kid and Casey's brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. You cannot imagine. That is not going to be good for his marriage.
And Casey's brother-in-law gets got
by Casey.
Casey.
Yeah.
Does she know that?
No.
And
That's
she's like, I deserve to know what happened. And he's like, I wish I could tell you, but I shot him in the head.
Yeah. And told him that there was no heaven.
The line he delivers to, okay, not a much colder line you could deliver to somebody before executing them with a pistol, with a bullet to the forehead.
Yes.
Is there is no heaven. And then just ending, dude. That was so cold.
Yeah. I was pretty shocked by that. I was like, oh, damn, that's his brother-in-law, yo.
And in fairness, they had some conflict brewing.
They did.
It was clear these two were not going to see things eye to eye.
No.
Long before that. We got Wes Bentley from American Horror Story, Hunger Games. Huge fan of this dude.
Yeah.
Love him. He plays Jamie Dutton.
Right. He's the kind of the city slicker. He's the lawyer.
So John's got his boys and his girls spread out in all these different arenas, right? So he can keep control and work in all these different places.
Yeah.
Politics, native reservations, sex, business and sex mixed together.
All right. And then third party that we have here is the developers.
And they want to eminent domain
A bunch of shit on the ranch.
so they
And
can
start building suburbs and McMansions here in Montana because Montana is hot right now.
It's
hot.
so hot.
It's so hot.
The Kardashians are out there, or they were. I think it's just Kanye now with his children.
Well, he's in Wyoming, but right,
whatever,
they're right
man.
there.
Why
It's
do I
all
always-
that piece of the country is very hot right now.
Because whenever people are like, when the Montana trip that I got this beautiful hat on comes up, I always think it was Wyoming. I confuse Montana and Wyoming a lot.
They're easily confusable.
Fair
Sorry
enough.
to all of our Montana and Wyoming listeners. Both of your states are very beautiful, and there's a reason why they're hot.
So hot right now. So very hot.
Yeah, so we got the developers. By the way, I just loved that. I feel like I've seen this in a movie or TV show before, where you blow up a river to stop it from going in a direction or something, and you alter it. This has happened. I've seen this before.
You got to alter the river flow.
You gotta, yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Or it's like a western. It's in a western. I don't know.
There are
Haven't we seen this? But haven't we seen this before, where somebody has to blow up a man-made body of water, or an earth-made body of water, a natural body of water?
I don't
to
fucking know,
divert
dude.
it or something. Okay.
You know my memory doesn't
I
hold
know
like
people are
that.
screaming at their car radios right now, or their home Sonos systems, being like, "It's called a dam."
By the way, my Sonos just won't stop giving me hell. Just connect to the room.
Yeah.
Just play the song.
So we got the developers,
Indeed.
and they're causing all sorts of mayhem.
There's a lot of hubbub.
They're getting in wrecks and stuff. John Dutton is losing horses. By the way, I imagine you mentioned that earlier that you got Bruce to stop barking at the horses. And I imagine you just showed him that first scene, and you're like, "That's going to be you if you don't shut up."
And he was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, I watch on my computer with my headphones on, and he can't hear the horses anymore.
Okay.
So that was the
Smart.
workaround that I found. I just have an ample computer screen at this point.
Brutal opening scene, by the way.
Yes. What exactly happened here?
There was a big one of the developers coming in with his big 18-wheeler, doesn't know how to handle these Montana roads,
And he fucked up.
got in a big accident, and John Dutton's horse trailer went flying, and a horse broke its leg, and he had to kill it.
And the truck driver didn't survive.
Truck driver dead.
He's
Yeah.
dead as hell. Huh. Interesting. And from there, things only get more complicated. But yeah, you pretty much get the tone set from the get-go.
I mentioned the wardrobe in Lovecraft Country. Also, big fits. big fits being gotten off here on Yellowstone.
These are Big Daddy, rich people ranching fits.
Yeah.
And then also others.
Like the jacket that John Dutton wears for most of this episode with like the high-ass leather orange, like the orange leather collar with the big Western pocket, flat pockets coming over.
Oh, baby, I got it
Like,
pulled up.
That thing looks like it's from Fear of God, man.
That's just a fine-looking coat there, Barrett.
That thing is sick.
That's a fine-looking coat.
Yeah.
You got to be a man of substance and style to wear a coat like that. I feel like my hat doesn't turn up enough. Like his hat turns up.
Yours
it's a
is
flat boy.
Well, it's like it's got like it's more southwestern.
Yeah, than it is cowboy hat.
These guys are real cowboys.
They're ranching.
They're ranchers. They're cowboys.
I'm just smoking pot in the backyard
They're
with this
herding cattle.
hat on. Yeah, they're shooting folks in the face point blank, telling them there's no heaven.
I get a lot of people asking me about cowboy hats. Like, are cowboy hats like a move to be pulled off? And now I know why. It's because they're watching Yellowstone and being like, I want to wear a cowboy hat.
Yeah, and we should be clear about something. Very difficult to pull off. Very, very difficult to pull off a cowboy hat.
It's a setting thing. These guys all look badass because they're ranchers in Montana.
If you wear a cowboy hat,
You can't like they're fly fishing off the back of their horses, man. They're
Yeah.
basically in a Ralph Lauren ad.
yes,
That's why the cowboy hat looks good. You can't just skedaddle on to,
Allen's. Buy yourself
buy
a
yourself
pair
a
of fucking
cowboy
Luke
hat
Casey's and a cowboy hat, and suddenly
and
you're
pull this off. Yeah.
no, you look like an idiot. Everyone will make fun of you.
Yes,
Don't look. If you have to ask yourself about like an accessory, like a cowboy hat, just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Just
Okay, I got another question for you. Through 90-minute first episode, are you cheering for anybody yet? Do you feel like there's somebody that you're supposed to be rooting for yet?
I mean, I've got Kevin Costner on my, rooting for squad just based on who he is. I know he's going to be a bad dude. I know he's going to do terrible shit.
Because I didn't get that feeling. Like
That he was going to be a monster?
No. I don't feel like they were pitching you in the first 90 minutes to be like, John Dutton's your good guy.
No, they weren't
Like
necessarily.
I feel like what this show, and again, we're talking about one episode here, but I feel like they definitely want to traffic in this like gray area, right? Like the new chief over on the native reservation, like this dude's not a bad guy either. It's just that John Dutton like finally has met his match. Is what it feels like to me.
Right.
Like this dude's here to play ball,
And they're going to have to face off.
not just be a patsy.
Right.
So
He's not going to get walked all over.
No, yeah. So but I didn't totally feel like, and we have the one child who I thought was like kind of pitched as the good son, is the one that hates his dad and lives and married a Native American and lives on the reservation
And executed her brother.
But then he throws a real wrench in this thing when he executes her brother and then exposes
that he's
his
got the brand.
which I still don't totally know what that means.
I think it means he was... Okay, so we see... Okay, let me say first. Casey Dutton.
Yeah.
That is the one I ended up rooting for. He's played by Luke Grimes. I felt like out of all the characters, and maybe it's his face, I don't know, he was the one I found myself like, that's the good guy.
That's who I kind of felt
There's
was
my-
like, that's our kind of the heart of the show.
You're supposed to root for this guy. He's not in, he's not out, but he's doing executions. He's got the brand. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We saw the other cat that they branded, though.
He was, by the way, originally in that whole scene with the helicopter and the hubbub and all that, he was trying to help the natives, right?
Which person?
Casey.
Yes,
he
I believe
was pushing the cattle like away from his family or something.
I believe so.
Okay.
But the other dude we saw get branded, that is clearly like a junkie or a fuck up of some kind.
Yeah.
Was the impression you got from that scene, because I don't think we had seen that dude before we see him get branded, did we?
We had never.
So the only thing we were being shown there was how they bring people into the Dutton sort of a mafia-like family situation.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you get that brand and,
that
you're given that second
called
chance,
in as a favor. He's sitting there at the auction, and that guy talks to him about his son or his nephew or something.
who's a fuck up, needs help.
Yeah.
So this is how you're brought into the Dutton family, sort of, to become a piece of their whole scheme.
And you're low on the totem pole. You're a grind boy.
Yeah, you're a henchman, basically.
Yes.
You're going to be doing what you're told to do, and in the case of this guy, certainly seems like he'll be down to do some dirty shit based on his general living situation.
So this then the brand that we see on Casey is more showing that he probably was like forced into a lower tier status on the ranch because he got in trouble or because he butted heads with his dad. The brand is part of the reason why he doesn't like his family, right?
I think it's also the symbolization that he'll always
is?
have the loyalty to his family too. So it's a bit of both, I think.
Okay, because I kind of read it both ways, and I wasn't sure which one they were trying to push you over to.
Like maybe he's clearly there was a divide at some point. There was a conflict. He chose to go a different route with his life, sort of. But I imagine what's going to transpire here is he's going to be drawn back in more and more to his family, especially after we're shown that brand. Maybe he tries to play the other side as a mole type of situation. I don't know. But I'll say this. The branding scene and then reveal were a couple of the scenes that gave the most weight to this episode and to this show moving forward for me, because I was like, okay, all right, we got a little brand action going on here. First of all, never been branded. Don't know how you could do it without screaming. Props to that drug addict nut for taking it like a man. That was intense. Any closing thoughts on episode 1 of Yellowstone season 1?
I would like to just say here that you may have noticed that I was calling the reservation a Native American reservation, and that is because I just flat out don't know if what the proper terminology is.
Is that
for these
not
things.
correct?
Well, you probably know them as an Indian reservation.
Yeah, but that can't be right.
But I feel like that's not. I don't feel like that's the appropriate term anymore. But then when I Google it,
it looks like it is.
It looks like it is because that is just literally what they are called, as almost like a byproduct of history now.
I guess.
So I don't know. So if we do have any Native American listeners, I would love to be informed about the proper way to address the reservation.
Inform your ignorant white hosts,
yeah.
Please.
Sorry.
Help us. But yeah, loved episode 1. It was 3.5 hours long. I'm very excited for the rest of the season.
Oh, I did. So my closing thoughts here is that I did like the setup. Again, both of these, the two shows that we're talking about today, I'm just in love with how each of them looks.
Oh, sure, hun.
The vistas that we get of Montana and of the West.
I've been riding out there, Barrett. I'll tell you.
The final frontier. You've seen it yourself, by God.
It's even finer in person, Barrett, when you ride those hills and mountains of Montana.
What's the sunset like out there?
Oh, God, Barrett, it's more beautiful than a full moon on a Texas night in the springtime.
You ever seen anything like it?
Nothing like it.
It's like they took a paintbrush to that sky.
They
call it Big Sky Country for a reason.
For a reason. We're just gonna put a little bush over here in the corner, and if you tell anyone about that bush, I will find you and I will kill you.
So love the way it looked. Obviously, I caught the Succession vibes. I caught the Game of Thrones vibes, the family vibes. I liked it. Now, I just finished my rewatch of The Office, by the way. And it was that you get that one episode late season in the final season called The Farm, which is called a backdoor pilot, because what that was supposed to be is the spinoff for the Dwight show. NBC didn't want it. It folded in to be an episode of that final season of The Office.
Did not know that. Fascinating. That could be some such right there.
That's a backdoor pilot is what they call it.
But that's some such.
Then there is what is called a premise pilot. I didn't know this term either. That was used, I heard that term used to describe Perry Mason season 1 as a whole. That the whole season was essentially setting up the premise of how Perry Mason becomes Perry Mason.
And how the show's going to work.
And how the show's going to work going forward, right? Because however many seasons that goes, I don't know how much more of like gritty Perry Mason ex-war, ex-soldier
we're going to get.
You're going to get, because now he's like turned that leaf, right? So they took that season to really to give us the premise. This very much is a 90-minute premise pilot. This was setting up the chessboard. So there's a lot of introduction and
here's this character. Here's this character.
Here's what. Yes.
Don't forget about how they're related.
I feel like it's a very modern trend, and to kind of I'm not saying that you're treating your audience as if they're more intelligent than a premise pilot does, but I do feel like it's kind of a hallmark of more modern prestige dramas to almost just drop you in and be like, here you go. Succession, for example, kind of did that.
Yeah, where it was just like, the story's happening now.
The story is happening now.
Buckle up, buckaroo.
Right. And so this one, kind of like just a little bit more classic of like, this first long-ass episode, we are showing you the pieces of the chessboard and where we're literally putting them on the chessboard.
Which is how Game of Thrones was. I mean, it was a lot of that first episode was, here are all the characters. Here's all the Northerners riding into town, or I'm sorry, the Southerners riding into town in Winterfell. You meet all these different people, and then you're like, well, how the hell do these all come together?
Obviously, that's the role of a pilot, is to introduce us to a show. It's just that some do it in a little bit more.
There are different styles to it.
There are different styles to it, and this one, I could just very much feel that like the show is telling me who everybody is and what the current status of everything is.
Right. I'm stoked for it.
But yeah, I liked it. I'm in. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that beautiful that beautiful
big
Montana sky.
Hope you Yellowstoners are excited that we are finally covering your show after you yelled at us for 2.5 years. And we'll be back for season 1, episode 2 of Yellowstone next week.
Don't forget, go check out those new Patreon tiers. Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. There is now Tip Jar, Movie Club, Wiretappers, Crustacean Nation, Mollusk Militia. Just a whole smorgasbord of options for you there.
And you know what, Barrett? We'll go ahead and save my review of An American Pickle for next week. Give some more people some time to watch it. I'm going to read you the premise.
Oh, I've read it.
I'm going to read it again.
A dude gets brined.
I'm going to read it to you again.
Okay.
Because I don't think you can hear it too many times. And I'm going to say that if you're not up for a silly ride, just skip it. Now, if you're into silly, or if you need something just lighthearted, fun-loving, go for it. You'll get some laughs. If you're looking for like a really good movie here, maybe just skip it. That's my tease of a review. An American Pickle is a 2020 American comedy drama film directed by Brandon Trost, his solo directorial debut, and written by Simon Rich based on his 2013 short story, Sellout. The film stars Seth Rogen as a Jewish immigrant who gets preserved in a vat of pickles and wakes up in modern-day New York City 100 years later, attempting to fit in with the assistance of his last remaining descendant, I believe it's his great-grandson, also played by Seth Rogen. Sarah Snook also stars. That's literally the movie. You see Seth Rogen, old-timey Seth Rogen, working at a pickle factory, and then he becomes a pickle, in a sense. And then he pops out the other side, and it's just him and his great-grandson navigating life in modern-day New York City.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like if you work in a pickle factory and you end up getting pickled yourself and pickling yourself for 100 years and then waking up at some point in the future, you found yourself in a kind of a pickle.
You're in a pickle. You are a pickle.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and then you got to solve that pickle problem that you've got. I won't tell you if they do or they don't.
I don't want to know.
That's for next week, Barrett.
Okay.
That's for next week. If you want to enjoy American Pickle, I'll be frank with you. I partook in the smoking of marijuanas before I watched this film because I'd read the premise. And if you partake in such things, then I recommend you do that as well before An American Pickle. Have yourself a fucking cocktail, whatever you do.
Did you smoke the marijuana like a cigarette?
I did smoke the marijuana like a cigarette. And then I smoked it like a bong. Because it took that much to get me through An American Pickle. But is this your attempt at a water bong? Yeah. I can't do it either. But yeah, no, it was fun. I'll do a little roast next week of an American Pickle. In more detail, if you want to watch it before, then go for it. And that will do it for today's episode of OCC. Appreciate you. That, he found one. He found himself a water bong sound effect to play. Unbelievable. That will do it for today's episode of OCC. Huge thank you to all of you who are supporting us directly on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. As Barrett mentioned, we've got new features. We've got new tiers. Go sign up for one of them. Support OCC, circumvent the advertisers, and get you some more ad-free premium editions of this podcast, either 3-4 times a month or one time if you're part of the movie club, or jump in the tip jar, or what else was there? Mollusk Militia, tip jar, movie club, wiretappers who get to hear the Mollusk Militia hotline call extravaganza but do not get to participate. And then, of course, the Crustacean Nation for 3 additional ad-free premium episodes of OCC each and every month. Patreon. Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. Patreon is simply a platform that affords us the ability to bring you more in exchange for your direct support. So go support directly. If you love the show, want to see us continue to grow.
Did you say P-A-R-T-Y?
Because I gotta.
Because I gotta.
Because I gotta. Somebody suck me. Follow us on social media for updates on the best in TV and movie content you can find on the whole of the internet, on Instagram at Oysters, Clams, Cockles, on Twitter at Clams and Cockles, and Facebook.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. My name is Ross Bolin, and you can follow me at WRBOLEN, at WRBolin on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and listen to my show, The Ross Bolin Podcast, that drops 2 times a week, Monday and Wednesday on Apple Podcasts. But wherever you listen to OCC, you can listen to RBP. It's a comedy and humor show with a focus on mental health and current events and history and pirates and animals. And we have a blast. The Ross Bolin Podcast, available wherever you listen to or watch OCC. And again, you can watch episodes of this podcast now, not just listen to them, by going to youtube.com/BolinMedia to see Barrett and I, see my fancy Bozeman Stetson.
You got to see Ross's hat here.
Because it looks really good.
Yeah.
I just look like everyone watching is like, God, he looks like a cowboy right now. Just a really badass cowboy.
Yeah.
And Barrett, where can we follow you and hear more of your beautiful voice?
Oh, follow me at Barrett Dudley on Instagram and Twitter, and then you can check out Club Cool, which I accidentally mentioned like 18 times today. Wherever you are listening to Oysters, Clams, and Cockles.
Oysters, clams. And that will do it until our next helping. And remember, it's very unlikely we will actually discuss an American Pickle next week.
I feel like you discussed it. I feel like
that was it. We did it. We already reviewed it. It wasn't good. It was all right. It was fun, but stupid. Very silly.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I enjoyed myself. It was like, you know how Adam Sandler just started doing dumbass shit?
Yep.
But every once in a while, one of them, you're like, you know what? That was fun. I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. It didn't teach me anything, but
totally.
hey.
But it was a...
And in 2020, baby, I'm with it.
How long was it?
I don't know. I was high as hell.
Less than an hour and a half, basically?
Let me look right now at the runtime.
I'm sure it was. It had to have been. There's no way that was a 2-hour movie.
An American Pickle runtime. It's been a while since 1 hour and 30 minutes on the fucking dot. It's like they listen to the show, Barrett.
What's not to like?
It's like they listened to the show, and they literally named it an American Pickle. Anyway. Adios, muchachos.
Bye.